Shalom. Shalom and welcome. This is Yahusha's time. It is an end-time series to those who seek to do the will of the Almighty Creator, the Almighty Father. It is an end-time series to those who will come to discover that Yahuah is His name and that no man can come unto the Father except by Yahuah's word manifest in the flesh in the person of Yahushua Messiah. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters, for truly proof comes. Proof of an awakening nation, and an awakening nation that will represent true Yahusha, all of Yahuah's creation who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, grafted together as one by Yahushua Messiah under one banner, and that banner is Yahusha. This consists of both Hebrews or Bari and Gentiles, some know as Goyim or other nations. People from many nations, kindreds, tribes, and tongues, who together are grafted together under one by Yahushua Messiah under the banner of Yahusha. These words are to you. Pray, watch, and establish a ready mind to respond with precision as the Spirit of Yahusha rises within us, through us, and through His chosen leaders and or sent messengers. My brothers and sisters, this segment of Yahusha's time will be a multi-part. It will be in 3 parts, and upon completion, I will combine it into a playlist. And before I get into this particular multi-part segment entitled Beware of Misleading Exodus Instructions, I want you to be mindful of 1 Peter 4:17. 1 Peter 4:17 informs us that judgment begins at the house of Elohim first and foremost. Let us be mindful of the characteristics of witnessing judgment working in us one towards another. And we will see iron sharpening iron. We will see what it means for us to righteously reason with one another. Humbling times are coming, and the boisterous arguments and debates and the different practices, teachings, and beliefs will change. Yahusha is being refined. An awakening nation is being refined and perfected and will come together in unity. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. With that said, let's get into this segment. My brothers and sisters, end times have arrived and conditions will grow intense in the coming days. Global warming, climate change will continue to wreak havoc, causing erratic weather patterns across the planet. CO2 levels and methane gas levels will continue to rise at an alarming rate, threatening the very air we breathe. As I have stated on numerous occasions, there are 4 practical things we need to survive in these earthen vessels: fresh air, fresh water, food, and a safe place to live. Whether you realize this or not, all 4 are being threatened as this message goes forth. True Yahusha is being prepared and will be guided to a safe place. The children of obedience are not appointed to the wrath of the Almighty Father. The signs of the time will prove to usher in humbling times, and we will witness forced migrations, forced transitions, directing us, moving us, pushing us, ordering us in the direction towards the promised land where we will await the return of the physical return of Yahushua Messiah. Movement of the people on this planet has begun and will enlarge in the foreseeable future. And I say people because the wicked one has his and the Almighty Father has his. Together they will gather from many corners, many sides of this world, many corners of this world, with the wicked nations coming together in their final battle against the Almighty Yahuah's children. They will gather in Megiddo, the wicked nations will. The children of the Most High will be in the region, I believe, known as the Mount Sinai, commonly known as Jabal al-Aw's region, a region that will far stretch our imaginations, my brothers and sisters. It will be a mass multitude, a remnant when you compare it to over 7.2 billion, but yet the numbers will be in mass. Movement have begun for some. All that is written will be fulfilled regarding our final exodus. True Yahusha's final exodus from the 4 corners of the earth. It will prove to result in a unifying awakening nations of individuals consisting of both Hebrews and Gentiles, as I mentioned earlier. There will be people from many nations, kindreds, and tongues, as I mentioned earlier. Many have difficult times understanding and or accepting these words. There will be a final exodus, and currently, many have not awakened to what is indeed true. We are witnessing individuals from outspoken mores, teachers, and more promoting a false sense of security regarding those who will participate in the final exodus. Yes, there are misleading exodus instructions. There are individuals who, through their teachings, practices, and more, they're promoting a more of a do nothing or don't worry about it, or all of us will get to the wilderness and then we'll sort things out mentality. Though we are not to worry nor be afraid of what man can do to us, we are to be mindful of what is foretold in scriptures. Fear Yahuah with all our heart, mind, body, and soul. It is the beginning of wisdom. It is the beginning of knowledge. It will bring us to understanding of what must be done. Know that all prophecies will be fulfilled. Again, I've entitled this segment, Beware of Misleading Exodus Instructions, for there is a proliferation or widespread teaching that all of us will participate in the final exodus and that the weeding out won't occur until we are all in the wilderness. This is erroneous, wicked, and not true. Allow me to pose the following questions. Is the Almighty Father Yahuah real? And has he created this plan which we are mere participants? Is it possible to witness the written text, the letter, scriptures come alive by the Spirit, the set-apart Spirit that the Almighty Father Yahuah sent in Yahusha's name? Is John 14:26 true, which informs us of how we will be taught? Can or does the Spirit of Yahusha work in us, through us, one towards another, and through his chosen leaders? Do messengers from the Almighty One actually exist, commonly known to some as angels? Are you one who believes the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation? Are you able to discern and keep the scriptures whole, intact? For there are those who are void of receiving the life in scriptures. They have chosen to disregard the renewed covenant, or what's known to many commonly as the New Testament, altogether. There are those who disregard Shaul or Paul's writing as part of scriptures. And there are those who cherry pick specific passages and ignore them altogether, not to mention individuals who are just plain wicked and rebellious. Do you believe the Most High Father never changes? Are you accepting that our living Almighty Father will provide us with instructions regarding what must be ahead of our footsteps, what we must do during these last days, before the physical return of Yahushua Messiah? My brothers and sisters, these and many more questions I desire to pose, but I will pause with the questions for now. Again, I entitled this segment, Beware of Misleading Exodus Instructions, because I have witnessed too many times now individuals, including those who claim to be Moray's teacher, whether in label or in their actions, leading individuals to think all of Yasharal will make it to the wilderness. I have witnessed individuals take positions regarding our final exodus that it will be a group of compromising teachings, practices, behaviors, and a mixed beliefs on a wide scale, and it won't be weeded out or purged until we get to the wilderness. This is wrong. Purging and coming away from wickedness will be an ongoing and daunting task. We will see some purging in the wilderness, but there will be much purging and coming away before we even get to the wilderness. Pray and watch. Recently, I exchanged words with an ark regarding our final exodus, and I want to share with you his response to me regarding his position and my position. I'm compelled to take pertaining to our final exodus, I'm compelled to mention what my position is regarding his. Before I go into what he said to me, let me share the following in order to present why many of us expect the final exodus during these last days, just in case you're unaware. Isaiah 11:12 says, And he shall raise a banner for the nations and gather the outcasts of Yasharal and assemble the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth. Isaiah 43:5 and 6 and 7 says, Do not fear, for I am with you. I shall bring your seed from the east and gather you from the west. I shall say to the north, Give them up, and to the south, do not keep them back. Bring my sons from afar and my daughters from the ends of the earth, all those who are called by my name, whom I have created, formed, even made for my esteem. Many people miss the part when it says for my esteem. He created those who will fulfill the gathering from the four corners, those who will fulfill it for his esteem. That doesn't mean every living Yasharal, every living Hebrew. Jeremiah 23:3-4 says, Therefore I shall gather the remnant of my flock out of all the lands where I have driven them, and shall bring them back to their fold, and they shall bear and increase, and I shall raise up shepherds over them, and they shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be discouraged, nor shall they be lacking, declares Yahuah. Ezekiel 11:16-17 said, Therefore say, Thus saith the Master Yahuah, Although I have sent them far off among Gentiles, and although I have scattered them among the lands, yet I was for them a set-apart place for a little while in the lands to which they came. Therefore say, Thus saith the Master Yahuah, I shall gather you from the peoples, and I shall assemble you from the lands where you have been scattered, and I shall give you the land of Yasharal. My brothers and sisters, I ask you again, is the Most High Father the same yesterday, today, and forever? Consider what is said in Malachi 3:6. For I am Yahuah, I shall not change, and you, O sons of Yaakov, shall not come to an end. Now you can lean on the text, you can lean on the letter, the literal and or the contextual alone. You can take a position that these prophecies have been fulfilled. Regardless of your position, I submit to you, we will witness a final exodus. This means there will be movement, migrations, transitions. Now back to the matter of being warned to beware of misleading exodus instructions. Our final exodus come, my brothers and sisters, with many people thinking we might be beamed to the promised land. Some thinking we'll just trickle in one by one or in small groups a little at a time. Failing to recognize how in times past the Most High had raised up leaders and used them to direct Yasharal in masses in huge numbers. I am compelled to believe not all will make it. Not all will participate. With these words stated, I wanted to share with you a couple of acts presented to me in the recent past. I will withhold their names, for they may have repented of their position since. Act number 1, we'll say. He mentioned the following passage to me with a position of our final exodus, thinking that the goats and lambs will not be separated at all until we reach the wilderness. And he cited Matthew 25:32-33, which reads, And all the nations shall be gathered before him, and he shall separate them from one another as a shepherd separates his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on his left. This I believe everybody will be taken to the promised land, and then that's when the separation will take place. Yes, this separation will take place, but it will begin much sooner. We will see those that are wicked purged from our ranks. We will see ourselves coming away, but be mindful, the flesh continues to war against the spirit, so there will be those who will come very close to deceiving us, thinking that they are with us, thinking that they are indeed our family. But the Spirit of Yahusha will uncover, reveal, cause us to discern, and will allow them to be purged in due season. It appears this act believed at one point that it is okay to be among compromising beliefs, teachings, and practices and behavior, thinking like, well, we're not going to get it right till we get to the set-apart place. It appeared this act believed our unification will not come until the physical return of Yahushua Messiah, possibly. He even stated, or it seemed to me as though he believed the Most High will separate the wicked from the set-apart one without using his chosen leaders or anyone else to make this happen, that it would just happen phenomenally. Though this act claimed to believe the scriptures, which tells us that the Most High uses individuals throughout, since the days of old, now, and going forward, for some reason this act was unaware that his words were contradictory in itself. The second act, I will post part of his communication. Here's an excerpt. When I spoke of coming together, when I spoke of a purging, when I spoke of restructuring, when I spoke of being refined, when I spoke of our final exodus, his response to me was, and I quote, with all due respect, Elder, Ezekiel 20:33-43 says different. It says he will weed out the rebels and those that transgress against him. So that's proof from the Bible that it's going to be non-believers there in verse And it also states that he will enter into judgment with us the same as he did our fathers, as it will be as before, according to Ezekiel 20:33 through 43. Other scriptures support this as well. I did a teaching on this, and I am confident that this is how it will be already. We have had summits of other camps coming together and groups coming together. I know many different sets that have fellowship together, even those who are non-Messiah believers as well as non-believers are trying to work together for unity of our people because of the injustice. Notice he said he did a teaching and that he's confident. I submit to you, this individual is confidently wrong. Confidently wrong, and I will explain, my brothers and sisters. But before I explain his misunderstanding, his misinterpretation of this passage of Scripture, let me read it to you. It is Ezekiel 20th chapter, verses 33 through 43. Now notice that he said this proved that there will be unbelievers. He said that it's going to be non-believers is what he said. This proved that it's going to be non-believers. But let's read this. Ezekiel 20th chapter verses 33 through 43 reads as follows. As I live, declares Master Yahuah, do not I, with a mighty hand, with an outstretched arm, and with wrath poured out, reign over you. And I shall bring you out from the peoples and gather you out from the lands where you are scattered with a mighty hand and with an outstretched arm and with wrath poured out. And I shall bring you into the wilderness of the peoples and shall enter into judgment with you face to face there, as I entered into judgment with your fathers in the wilderness in the land of Mizraim. So I shall enter into judgment with you, declares Master Yahuah. And I shall make you pass under the rod and shall bring you into the bond of the covenant and purge the rebels from among you and those who transgress against me from the land where they sojourn. I bring them out, but they shall not come into the land of Yasharal, and you shall know that I am Yahuah. See, he missed this part where it said they shall not come into the land of Yasharal. It goes on in verses 39 to 43, and it says, as for you, O house of Yasharal, thus saith Master Yahuah, go serve each of you his idols. And afterwards, if you are not listening to me, but do not profane my set-apart name any more with your gifts and your idols. For on my set-apart mountain, on the mountain height of Yasharal, declares Master Yahuah, there all the house of Yasharal, all of them in the land shall serve me. There I shall accept them, and there I shall require your offerings and the first fruits of your offering together with all your set-apart gifts. As a sweet fragrance I shall accept you when I bring you out of the people. I shall gather you out of the lands where you have been scattered. And I shall be set apart in you before the Gentiles, and you shall know that I am Yahuah when I bring you into the land of Yasharal and into the land which I lifted my hand in an oath to give your fathers. And there you shall remember your ways and all your deeds with which you were defiled, and you shall loathe yourselves in your own sight because all the evils that you did. My brothers and sisters, it appears that this brother hung on to verse 36 where he said, I shall enter into judgment with your fathers in the wilderness in the lands of Mizraim, so shall I enter into judgment with you, declares Yahuah. You know, he looks at this verse, I believe, and 38, verse 20, verse 38, when it said, and purge the rebels from among you and those who transgress against me from the land where they sojourn, I bring them out. But he neglect what it said, they shall not come into the land of Yasharal. And he neglect the fact that there are scriptures that talks about the flesh warring against the spirit. So yes, there will be some goats along with the lamb. There will be some who will rise up that will be rebellious. But this does not mean, my brothers and sisters, that everybody gets to go. Compromising spirits and teachings get to go. Will be gathered from the four corners. And I will speak more on that in a moment. I ask that you stay tuned as we pick up on this and move into part 2 of Beware of Misleading Instructions. Beware of misleading Exodus instructions, my brothers and sisters. Beware of those who are confident but are confidently wrong. Until next time, stay tuned for part 2 of this segment. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.